I want to run through recruiting classes. And I
Okay.
want to get your take on if a guy was highly ranked, didn't work out for him, you're in that evaluation of, how he panned out versus his expectation, and obviously noting anyone who's left the program. So we'll start here in 2022. Obviously, the 23 class, they only played one season. They were just freshmen. So let's go back to 2022.
Great class at the top. I mean, they had an
Yeah.
opportunity the next year to ride some momentum with Xavier Wampa and, of course, the Caden Proctor saga. But no, 22, I mean, to get a 5-star in Xavier Wampa and then Aaron Graves, who I thought probably could have ended up being a 5-star had he not committed to Iowa so early. I think both those guys have had solid careers. They're both cemented starters now. But at the same time, Mark, I think both of those guys have room to grow. And the ceiling is a lot higher than where they are right now. And Iowa lost a dude in Logan Lee, a guy who tested out really well at the combine, surprised a lot of people, including myself, with how well he measured. And so, you add in Noah Shannon, who didn't play last year because of the gambling stuff. It's going to be Aaron Graves and Y.A. Black next to each other. And those two dudes are physical beasts. I mean, Y.A. Black is about the biggest man I've seen wearing an Iowa uniform ever, maybe next to Carl Davis. I remember seeing Carl Davis in person when I was a lot younger, thinking, man, this dude is massive. And I'd say the same thing about Y.A. Black. He's big. Aaron Graves, he's big. He doesn't have the maybe height, girth. He's listed at 6'4". I guess you're looking at the recruiting rankings. He was listed at 260, but he's up over, I think he's hit 300 now. So, I mean, we'll see. I think verdict's still out on those guys. I think maybe there was a little bit of overhype about Xavier Wampa, what he was going to do early as a safety. But I think both those guys have an opportunity to come of age this year. Caleb Johnson, it's funny. I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day about Caleb. Like, the dude is I talked to somebody who is close to the program, and they keep saying how much of a freak the guy is. But the question is, when will the light switch on as it relates to the football field? Because let's be honest, he's had a few glimpses of greatness, but I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. We have not seen his ability to make people miss. We have not seen an ability to put your foot in the ground and change direction. He is, when you're talking about building, everybody's obsessed with this new college football game. We're talking about building your own athlete on College Football 25 or on Madden. He's the guy. I mean, the 6'1", whatever he is now, 220, 225, I'm guessing. Got a long stride, but you've got to have the ability to make people miss, and I haven't seen that yet. So I don't think he's going to be the starter as of right now, but we've got fall camp to decide that. Cale Vanderbush isn't with the program anymore. So I'll admit, I was not as high on Cale. I mean, once you get down past Caleb Johnson, I think there's a lot of guys that were similarly ranked. I mean, these guys don't even have, none of these guys you're showing right here have national rankings next to them here on 247 Sports. Did Caleb Johnson have a national ranking?
No.
I mean, he didn't even have a national ranking. So you got two guys at the top, and then, number 25 and number 112. So I was not as high on Cale Vanderbush when he committed. Scroll down a little bit, Mark. TJ Hall, another guy who I really like the kid. He was committed. He was actually committed to a couple Pac-12 schools before he committed to Iowa, Washington, Arizona. He's yet to really emerge. I know he got a kind of a bad rap that first year when he had to sub in for Cooper DeJean in the Nebraska game and got burned against a future NFL receiver. Caden Crawford, he was going to be a project coming in, I'd say substantially undersized. He has not emerged yet. So, still with the program, but has not emerged. Conan Trigger, his name became famous after that miraculous play against Michigan in the Big Ten championship game last year, where he ran down the kick return down to like the 1 yard line. But he's waiting his turn because you got Quinn Schulte and Wampa back. Deshaun Lee, overachiever. He's the one guy that signed after the early signing day. He signed in late January, early February, whatever it was. So he's probably going to be a starter this year. He has emerged. Great find by Phil Parker in an area in Belleville, Michigan, that has been very productive. Detroit area. Bostic, what will he do now? He's down at Texas A&M. We'll never know. We'll never know what he would do at Iowa. It'd be interesting to see what he does at A&M. Jack Dotzler, a big dude. He continues to get bigger. Him and Cale Crow, very similar type of players. Neither one of those guys have really emerged. Dotzler's appeared on a couple of depth charts, but that's about it. I was high on Addison Estringa when he committed. I just watched him on tape and thought, this guy's underranked. And, playing as a true freshman tight end is impressive. He's going to be alongside Luke Lachey and get a lot of run. And then Landon Van Kekerix was a very late ad. I don't even know what position he's playing now. I think he's at linebacker. Brian Allen Jr., I think some website had him as a 4-star at one point. Jazz Patterson was a 4-star at one point. Both those guys. I mean, Jazz has had a little bit more experience in games, a little bit more tape to work with, but Brian Allen's flashed in preseason. I think Allen's going to have more of an opportunity because of opportunity, like guys in front of him that have left, than maybe Jazz Patterson will. But I think they'll both play. Carson May, swing and a miss. I mean, and again, he left before the Tim Lester era, so we'll never know what Tim could have gotten out of him. But Ken O'Keefe recruited him. Then he was with Brian briefly, and it just never worked out. Jaden Montgomery, same thing as of right now, linebacker who has not emerged. And you want me to do the last two? Orlando Trader, I think is he in jail right now? He got charged with a very serious sexual offense after he left Iowa sometime later. He opted out of his NLI, National Letter of Intent. I think went to some smaller school and recently got charged. Now, as you know, a charge is simply an accusation, innocent until proven guilty. But that's the last I know about Orlando Trader. So maybe that was a mutual parting of ways. And then Steven Stilianos, I gave him a good year. I mean, I think it took him a year to kind of get settled. He'd played some FCS football in the Colonial but gave Iowa some good production last year.
So for Trader, he went to Grand Valley State University, and in March of 23, accused, and then the student pleads guilty in sexual assault case.
So if it was back in, my guess is he's out. If he served any jail time, my guess is, and maybe he didn't serve any jail time. I don't know, but that was over a year ago.
No jail time.
No jail time?
As of his sentencing on April 17th, he will be placed on probation under the Holmes Youthful Training Act with no jail time.
Wow. Well, no wonder he pled guilty. I mean, right? That's the way this, whether you like it or not, that's the way the criminal justice system works. I'm guessing there might have been a plea deal there, and so who knows? But yeah, good class. I think there's potential, so much potential still there in guys like Graves, Wampa, Hall. So and then they've got guys like Estringa who have, Deshaun Lee, guys that maybe those are the lifeblood of the program. These guys that are 2 to 3 star kids that, Iowa adds kind of out of nowhere, and they end up being big players. And let's not run through this class. This one makes me depressed because of that top one. Unfortunately, I don't know David Cobb or his family. This is 21, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, David Cobb, just another 4-star kid that I really liked coming out of high school, and departed from the program, and I believe it was medical. Just never could get healthy. Colby has, chiseled himself out a nice career at Iowa, but nobody up front has been great. So he's one of those really old guys now that needs to step up and play well this season. Obviously, Cooper DeJean goes without saying, underranked, should have been a 5. I mean, in hindsight, like you look at him, you're like, yeah, that guy probably should have been a 5-star, right?
Oh yeah,
he's a 5-star kid.
Sure.
Max Llewellyn, great career so far. He's playing. He's playing. He's going to play again this year. As undersized coming out of high school, but he's made himself a nice career out of Urbandale. And then we know Joe Labus, yet another quarterback they missed on.
So Iowa obviously got the top 3 ranked players in the state, and they were all top 150 players nationally.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
David Cobb was
David
Illinois.
Cup out of Illinois. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where Llewellyn ranked. Yeah, he was
6th.
sixth in the state. So, and then Keegan Johnson, yet another receiver that comes and goes, along with Arlen Bruce. Both guys are in the same class. Bo Stevens, one of those old guys up front. Justice Sullivan, very sad story. I know he's actually from around my neck of the woods here in Story County. Another medical thing. He just couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately. And great kid, cool story. His family, I believe, he was. I don't want to. This is something I don't want to screw up, but I believe he is originally from somewhere in Africa and was adopted by a family here, I think. But really cool story. Wish his career had panned out a little differently. Griffin Little. I don't. Is he even on the team? Is Griffin Little on the team? I don't even know where he's at. I guess I can. Let me look this up. He has not played. Maybe some special teams. Let's see here. I'll find it in 2 seconds.
He's with Bowling Green.
Little is
tight end.
Why didn't
like it?
Tight end.
Okay, maybe it's somebody else. Must be somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking here. This is there's a different Griffin Little.
There's a Griffin Little.
Okay, this looks like
Bowling Green.
Okay, looks like our guy. Looks like your guy, Elliot Clough, may have reported something. Sounds like he took a medical back in March. So there you go. That's actually no. It was Adam Jacoby of Hawkeye Beacon. Did you hear about that? They've changed over to Hawkeye Beacon. They're no longer
That's
Go
what
Iowa.
I hear. Heard
Anyways,
that from Elliot.
Yes. So Little is unfortunately another medical. Several of these guys taking medicals. Jeremiah Pittman, he's another guy. I thought he was a little overweight. Mark, how big do you think a 6 foot? I know everybody's different, but how big do you think an offensive lineman at 6'2" should be?
Defensive lineman. Did he switch to offensive line?
No, he's defensive.
Oh. Yeah, that doesn't. I don't know. Probably in high school, he would be that heavy that there should be some growth. There should be some weight put on.
Well, he's listed right now. Let me find his. Where is he at here? Currently, I believe he's in the 50s. Yeah, he's 55. He's listed at 293. That's a pretty big guy at 6'2".
Yeah.
So, but he is probably going to play because of need this year. And so I'd say verdict's still out. Brody Breck just got drafted in the MLB. He was a second-round draft pick last night or 2 nights ago. So I don't really know that it matters what his football career panned out to be. Jeff Bowie's finally healthy. Let's hope. Cross your fingers he stays healthy. Good kid. Been writhed with injuries. Zach Tweet, Story County kid, up in Story City. Jaden Harrell, Mislinski, Shire, Hilson. That class has a lot to prove still, Mark, and it's an older class. Some of those guys have played. Man, a lot of injury issues with that class. Go back up. I mean, Shire, let's start at the top. David Cobb takes a medical. Go down. We've got Sullivan takes a medical. Little takes a medical. We missed Dunker. He's obviously going to be starting right tackle. Jeff Bowie has been just plagued with injuries. I think I won't mention Jaden Harrell, but I think Harrell has dealt with a lot of injuries. Mislinski has not hardly been on the field. Carson Shire's hardly been on the field. That's like 6-7 guys that have had like serious injury issues, Mark. HDMI 1 ARC. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to say about that class.
Well,
why does it do that? Why does it do? Why does your monitor do that at times?
It goes to sleep.
Goes to sleep like me. All right.
My laptop goes to sleep.
Oh, your laptop. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.